So, to kind of complement that, one of the best combinations for sweets, besides salty, is things that are spicy. So, using different pepper combinations here, this is going to kind of add that flavor that we want to kind of give it that oomph. It's a good combo. So, black pepper, white pepper, and now red pepper, cayenne pepper.
What does it look like?
It is red.
So it's not crushed red peppers.
This is not crushed red peppers. Nope, this is ground cayenne pepper. You could buy whole peppers, crush them. You could buy dried red peppers, again, crush them in a mortar and pestle or something like that.
And this is a mortar and pestle.
But I went ahead, I use this so frequently that it's okay for me to use the ground. So anyway, so here it is, red pepper. Maybe. It's so thick. Here we go. See it coming out now?
No. Yes.
It is. So it looks like I'm adding a lot, but you remember I'm going to be adding some cream and some other ingredients. But this is what gives this dish that essence, that kick that sort of kind of sneaks up in on your palate. So let's move this around here. It's starting to stick. I'm going to turn it back down just a little bit. Now, a lot of times, a lot of cooks, what they have you to do is, when you do the ground meat separately, they tell you to drain the fat off. And you're more than welcome to do that if you want to make this more of a low-fat dish. I would highly recommend going ahead and keeping the ground meat separate, and then cooking it all the way through, draining it, putting it back in the pot. But I tend to keep it all in here because I actually find that what little fat that is in the turkey is necessary to keep it moist and to keep it flavorful. But by all means, if you're on a very, very strict diet, do it, separate it all together. So now, that's almost done. I'm going to go ahead and kick up my pasta boiling water back here some more, and I'm going to throw in my pasta.
Kick it up a notch.
While this is finishing up. And these boxes tend to be a little small. They're not quite a pound. So I open another one up. Just use a little more. Because I really want close to a pound of pasta.
So use like half that box?
Maybe a quarter.
Okay.
I would say. So I'll stir this up a little bit. That's going to come back up to the boil. Kind of halfway put that on there so it'll hurry it up. Alright, so we've got this going. These are almost done. This turkey meat's almost done. Now you can notice all of the onions and things are mixing in there and blending a little more. Okay, so my meat is pretty much done. If you notice, there's no pink spots. Everything's got some more color to it. It's pretty much there. So while it's almost there, I'm now going to add my parsnips. Just to give it a little more texture.
Look like water chestnuts.
Kinda. If you eat one now, it would be just as crunchy. But these are going to go soft.
Is that how you tell when it's done?
As far as what, the parsnips?
Yeah, when they get soft.
Well, they're so small, yeah, pretty much they're going to be like that. They're going to be done when they're soft. I don't want them to be too mushy. That's why I add them in at this last stage like this. Because I still want some kind of chunk and bite from them. But I chop them up small because I want to make this a quick dish. That's another key thing. If you want to make something go quickly, chop things up very tiny, like in a stir fry, and it'll go a lot faster. Okay, so that's pretty much done now. So now, I'm going to turn this down a little bit, just a little. I'm going to add my heavy whipping cream. Now this is a pint, and I should only need to add maybe a half, possibly more. Let's see.
When in doubt, measure it out.
And actually, we may get away with using the whole thing. Don't worry, we'll have specific measurements for you posted so that you'll know exactly what to do. For those of you who are nervous about experimenting slightly. A little more in there. I'm just going to put it all. You can use light cream, half and half. It's going to be not as rich and luxurious. But if you are concerned about diets and such, if you're on a low carb diet, things with more fat tend to cancel out things with carbs, i.e. pasta. So we've got this going. Now the parsnips are going to start getting to where they're going to thicken this. Lovely little sauce. Turn it up just a little bit more. Completely bring it up to the boil.
The sauce?
The sauce. See, it's starting to go. You don't want to go too high, or you're going to scorch and burn your cream. So now we cover. You turn it down again a little more. And it's going to saute and simmer. And it's not going to take too long. We want it just to be in there long enough to warm the cream, thicken the sauce from the parsnips, and it's pretty much going to be ready to go. So all we're waiting on is our pasta. And the time it's going to take for our pasta to finish, you want to cook your pasta al dente.
What's al dente?
In Italian it means to the tooth.
Makes sense.
So you don't cook the heck out of your pasta till it's mush. You want to cook it to the point when you bite into it, it has a little give. You don't want to cook it till it's raw or you're going to break a tooth. So you usually want to cook according to the package instructions. They're very good. They know exactly about how long it takes their pasta to cook. So if there are package instructions, it says here, in boiling water, 11 minutes. So we'll see if that's the case. I would say that I've had this in there for roughly, it's probably been in there for roughly about 3 minutes. So as soon as this is ready to go, we're ready to go. And that's going to give us plenty of time for our sauce to finish and sort of meld together and just be wonderful. Now, what we're going to do once the pasta's done, we have to test and taste test our pasta sauce. Always, always taste everything as you go along to make sure it's okay. Chefs, no matter how good they are and how long they've been doing it, you always have to taste your food to make sure that it is done correctly. You don't want to serve it, sit down, and all of a sudden realize there's not enough salt. It's not a good thing to do. So always make sure that you taste everything ahead of time. And we'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, so here we go. So we're back to our roasted peppers. We're going to go ahead and complete these while our sauce and our pasta finishes cooking. So all I'm doing here is now what has happened is it's wet. And it makes it a lot easier for me to take the skins off. They've all been gone crusty. Just kind of get that all off of there. Just like that. See, you have that left over with that lovely little roasted pepper instead of the chewy skin. Just going to get that all off of there. And we'll probably wipe it all off. Run it underneath the sink for a second. You don't want to run it under there too long. You'll lose some of the sweetness from the pepper.